Welcome to Any News. I'm Owen Barker. Coming up, how the Arriva bus services are affecting students, the impact of the Queen's death, and also how a huge development for the North East is making gamers excited. Now to Paris at East Durham College, who will be discussing how the changes to the Arriva bus services have been affecting the punctuality of students.
Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the recent bus changes to the Arriva services. I'm talking about the 22 and 23 bus. These buses have changed to be only every hour instead of being every half an hour, which means that it's more difficult for students to access college and be on time to college. On August 7th, Arriva had revised their timetable for the number 22 and 23 bus services between Peterlee and Sunderland to hourly instead of every 30 minutes. Now that it is September and the academic year has restarted, students at East Durham College will rely upon these services as the college has a contract with Arriva, which allows students to access their bus services to college for free during term time. As you can see, Arriva has stated that the reasoning behind these changes is due to a UK-wide shortage of bus drivers, which means that they have applied this in order to prevent last-minute cancellations so their bus services can run more smoothly. I have spoken to students at East Durham College to discuss further to how they feel about these changes in the bus services.
They're really hard to get because they've cancelled some of them.
It's been really annoying because every time I try to go to college now, the buses aren't there, and it's really affected me doing my work and that. Because I've go to college and then they're just not there.
Well, I used to be really late for lessons on mornings and used to get absent because the buses were running late, and then I'd get the blame for them.
Now we are left to wonder whether these service changes are actually temporary or will they become permanent. Will it return to normal, or will our students have to cope with the difficulties of getting to college on time?
Next, as we all know, prices are on the rise for most, but how are the rising costs impacting students? Alex Fletcher is at East Durham College to find out.
Cost of living is something that's impacted millions around the United Kingdom, but today I'm here at East Durham College to see how it's impacted students. National Union of Students produced a survey that showed 38% of students disagreed that the government were doing enough to help with the cost of living crisis within education. "29% had less than £50 to spend every month.
I'm struggling to buy food while I'm at college, so I can't buy lunch all the time. Sometimes I just have to have a chocolate bar and that's it.
Personally, it has affected me very deeply because now I'm not able to buy any drinks or food while at college. Now I've got to wait till I get home.
Now I spoke to students here at East Durham College seeing how their lives have been impacted by the cost of living. Let's hope there's some change within the months to come.
In other news, the recent passing of the Majesty Queen has led to some big changes in the world. Blake Burns is looking into how this made an impact on students.
The Queen's death will have a huge effect on the nation. Let's find out what students from East Durham College think.
They might fall apart and everything might go to hell, but other than that, let's hope Charles doesn't mess anything up.
So I think a lot of people have mixed opinions.
Well, most people will probably be unaffected by it, but I think some people, specifically upper class people, will be really affected by the death.
For starters, with the Queen's death, the money will have to change, and it takes around about 20 years for them to get all of the old money gone.
Personally, I don't, but at the same time, it's the only Queen we've ever had, so it's a big impact.
It certainly will have an effect on the United Kingdom. It may not now, but certainly will in the future.
Money will have to change as well as passports. Post boxes and post stamps will also have to change.
Now onto our sports segment, and Hartlepool United game versus Crewe Alexandria had a very heartfelt moment at the start of the game. Here we have Robert Wild outside the Students Direct Stadium.
Here I am outside the Suits Direct Arena, where 1 minute of silence really spoke 1,000 words to show respect of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Fans up and down the country have been asking why football was cancelled. In the cricket, F1 and other sports were allowed to continue, causing backlash on the Premier League and other companies is to do with football. Cricket was said to be cancelled due to not being able to risk losing the money and to keep the sport afloat, as this could have lost up to £4 million if postponed. I asked two football fans their thoughts on these postponements and how it had affected them or anyone they know.
I do follow the football, but I don't really go at the matches. Obviously, I'm a Sunderland supporter as well, so I'm not in the Prem or anything. But we do play a lot of FPL, me and my mates and that, and obviously being at game week where it's obviously missed, went all a bit weird with wild card and stuff like that. So it's been hard to keep up with because a lot of people has different opinions on what you should do and what not to do. So it's jumbled all that up a bit, I'd say.
No, I don't really see the benefit in it, as like people are just going to sit at home, do nothing all day, instead of if they went to the match, you could have paid tribute to her. It's just a minute silence. And plus, like, what? Like, I know that cricket don't have enough money, but I mean, may as well have the football go ahead as well. I had a mate who has a season ticket, and well, he just didn't go to the match, and it's something that he really normally does religiously now. So
Remember why these minute silences are happening during the next week of games, and it'll show how powerful the sport of football truly is. Robert Wilde, signing out.
Remaining on the topic of sports, Hartlepool-born fighter Savannah Marshall had a fight postponed. I went and interviewed people to ask how this will affect the fight. The 10th of September should have been a big moment in women boxing due to the fight between Savannah Marshall, the silent assassin, versus Claressa Shields, the T-Rex. Due to the Queen's passing, this fight was postponed until the 15th of October, and Claressa Shields couldn't be more upset.
What can I say? I was 159 pounds today. I was mentally and physically ready for tomorrow. I'm sad about the fight being postponed, but I'm a big girl and understand. The country of the UK had took a huge loss of Queen Elizabeth, and the country is mourning. The world is too.
Today I've got an exclusive interview with Robert Wilde. Today he's going to be talking about the postponement of the fight and how does it affect the fighters.
This can affect the fight because obviously they went through a ridiculously hard training camp, as both of them want to be undisputed world champions, and then with a massive postponement a day or two out from the fight, this means that they then have to be very smart with what they do for the next 4 weeks. They can either work ridiculously hard again, potentially losing weight, potentially gaining weight, or potentially overworking themselves when boxers have a very strict plan set out for themselves. Or do they go medium, where if one, in their head they'll be, if one only works at a medium pace and the other works at a ridiculously high pace, one will work harder than the other, and as we know about boxing, whoever works the hardest usually wins. Also, another way it could affect the fight is Claressa Shields' only ever loss in amateur and professional boxing was against Savannah Marshall in the amateurs, which in their heads, they could have got themselves into a mindset in all of that time of either Savannah Marshall could have got it in, I cannot lose to Claressa again, or Claressa could have been like, this is my revenge arc. And with all of that mindset leading up a day before the fight, you have to be perfectly mentally, and then 4 weeks pushback could have affected that. Now Claressa Shields could be like, I may lose to this girl again, or Savannah Marshall might now be panicking, thinking, what if she redeems herself?
I am stood in the headlands where Savannah Marshall trains and may have to continue training here due to the postponement of the fight. Games across the northeast can get excited about getting involved in local esports on its way to Wearside. I'll report Luke House at Sunderland to find out what all the fuss is about.
Adjacent to the Stadium of Light lies the National Esports Performance Campus that is currently being built by the British Esports Association under the help of the Sunderland City Council. The hope is to help the city to advance to the next step in its long plan to become a technologically advanced city. The Esports Campus boasts that it has the newest gaming technology and multiple gaming coaches in hopes to nurture and improve the performance of young and up-and-coming talent. The campus is also planning to host regular esports events and community tournaments in the future and help expand an already giant of an industry. What does this mean for gamers?
I reckon it encourages a really good community.
I'm not really a fan of esports because I feel like the games are a lot more competitive. I feel like that ruins the fun of most games.
People can have it as a job. It could influence people to enjoy themselves more, so it wouldn't affect, it's a break from mental health, so it's going as easy on them.
Other developers try and make their games to be in the esports scene, and that can affect the overall quality of them.
Definitely more lucrative for these games manufacturers as well.
Ultimately, this means Sunderland will be the main place for esports, and it will bring traction to the city through people wanting to go and see and maybe participate in the esports and community tournaments. Will you be the next champion?
Good luck with that, Luke. Let's hope you get a medal. Well, that's all we have for today. This has been Owen Barker, and we will see you the same time next week with more from Any News.